Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. It's Friday. I thought I'd just pop in for an extra little catch up. Must admit I've got a bit of a croaky voice at the minute. It's playing up, as it does every so often. Nothing to worry about. It's one of those things. You know what it's like. I'm sure you've all got your own little healthy quirks, shall we call them. Anyway, today I'm popping in because tomorrow I've got my Sharing the Love of Lavinia workshop over at Lavinia HQ, and I always make for my crafters a little tag for each of them to take home, just as a little thank you from me for coming. And I like to share with you the design just in case it gives you some inspiration. And again, this is a design on a tag, but you know me, you could very easily pop this on a card. Look at that. And for those of you who like your smaller cards, that design, just sort of condense this a little bit, and that would easily go on a smaller card. Now, this is great for batch card making. As you can see, I've just got to put my lovely craft yarns on all these. But I thought I'd just share with you, because for me, and if you look, although I try and do them all the same, even just the placement of the flowers is different on these two, look. So although they're all the same, they're individual, and once you add water, it takes on just a twist of its own. So I love that, like I say, although they're the same, they are different. So I've started off with, and just to show you, I do decorate the back as well. I think that's important. And these are the large watercolour tags from Lavinia. Now, I have already decorated the back on this one. And you know me, I sometimes turn techniques on the head. Just for me, being a crafter, I like to have a reason why I do things. And I always tell you this and explain why, so you come in my head. Now, for me, if I decorate the back first, I will get a little bit of ink just by virtue of what we're doing on the front. But now, when I decorate the front, I can cover that up. But what I find is if I decorate the front first and it's all beautiful, then turn it over, decorate the back, I end up with extra ink and bits on the front where I didn't want them. So that's why I do it this way. So for me, decorate the back first, let it dry, and then off we go with the front. Now, a few of you have asked about the difference of our ink pads. Now, these are both dye-based ink pads. So we have our Versafine Clair, and these are permanent ink pads. So that means they won't move with water. They're permanent. They're designed for things like stamping, where you want permanency. And they're very fine, hence the name Versafine, so work well with Lavinia stamps. These are dye-based ink pads. And before you start telling me that this is a fusion and it's got pigment ink in, I know that. But in general, they're both dye-based ink pads. And that means they'll move with water. And again, it's just a nice, simple way of looking at it. So really, these you can stamp with them, but it will move if you add water. Also, it won't be as fine detail as your Versafine Clair. But these, your distress oxides have got Vaseline in the makeup, in that little recipe. So they were, when Sir Tim developed them originally, they were for blending, for backgrounds. That was the main purpose. So they will blend beautifully. The elements, dye-based, just the same, but the difference with these is when Tracy developed these, they were main purpose, although you can use them for lots of other purposes, for the gel press. And what she noticed is when you use oxides or distress on a gel press, because they've got quite a lot of water in that mixture, in that recipe, you got beading. So your elements have got a high pigment, low water content, hence they're great on the gel press. But also that high pigment, lots of colour, means when you first buy them, they will be strong colours. And again, that's just the makeup of them. But they're both essentially dye-based pads. So for me, I can use them together in a design. I don't have to use just elements, just oxides, just distress. I can mix all three depending what colour tones I want. Basically, that's all I wanted to tell you. Probably a long way of telling you, but I know we've had some lovely messages recently of our lovely new followers who have joined our community on here. So, and I was going to write your names down, but sorry. So anyway, big shout out to the new followers who put messages on the last post. Thank you. I'm going to come in with my big brush, And as always, so the colours I've gone for, sorry, Mermaid in the elements, but there's some Villainous Potion in the oxides. Just because these were the colour tones I wanted. And I'm just gonna, now with this, I don't want you to worry about how it looks. You are just gonna, and I'm doing circular motions, we're not looking at good blending here. We're looking at just getting the ink on. And then I'm going to come in with my purple. Now I want the purple at the bottom, but I also want some purple up here and across here. Just to give, and we're just making a background. But what I am going to do is come back in with this blue and go across like this. So actually in the background, I almost want it to look as though you've got some clouds. You know, you get those wispy clouds in the background. So I'm quite happy with going side to side across. And I'm just going to add a little bit more there. And don't worry about light and dark bits. It looks nice to have light and dark bits. Now, I'm just going to spritz this. And because we're doing this time together and I'm only making one, I'm actually going to clean it up with my Inky Binky. But what you can do is smoosh your card through. And when I made my other tags, because I was obviously batch tag making and I'd got quite a lot of ink on my desk, this was my card. And this is just an A6 multifarious, and I dabbed it like this, smooshed it and dried it at each process, and look. So that's my free background ready to stamp, and I think that's fabulous. So remember to do your free backgrounds, but do remember to use them up. Don't just have a pile of them. That's the thing, we need to use things like that. So I'm going to do my stamping now. And as I say, if I got any extra ink on the back, it wouldn't matter, it will just add to that design. So I'm coming in with black first. And this is my Wild Summer Flowers, I love this. And I'm coming in at the side, and I want one first generation, 1 second, and it's funny, when you've made a few of one design, you almost get used to, you get a bit of a routine of what you're doing. So then the lavender, I love this lavender, Monarch for this. I wanted some dark purple. So I'm just going to come in and just add some first, second and third generation randomly. And can you see I'm following that sort of arch there. Next, field grass. Love the field grass. And I'm going a lighter colour now, lilac bloom. Just because with the field grass, I want it to look wispy, look. And that gives a bit of depth. And you can do it so it's in the distance, look. And that just helps. We've got those colour tones going beautifully, but we can get that depth. We've got distance, near. And just by mixing up your stamps and your ink pads, first, second and third generation, remember, again, just helps. And then finally to add a bit more depth at the base. So I just want a little bit more something here. So I'm going to come in with the Woodland Fern. And the larger stamp, I'm going back to that Monarch. And we'll just have a few. I don't want too many. Don't want to overcook this. But just for that next layer at the base here. And then for a real punch. And what's nice, you know, if you're creating this design for the first time at home, and I've said this a few times, take a picture now, because you might think it's finished. Then wait till you see, for me, the difference, just adding a couple of the Woodland Ferns, the smaller one in black at the base. It's amazing the difference that this will add. Might just put a couple there. Right, can you see that? And for me, it really grounds it, and it really brings those to the front and actually knocks this further back and then this even further back. And it's lovely to just take the pictures and compare them. So where are we going to put our Bumblebee. And again, they're all different. Use your acetate if you're not sure. I think on this one we're going to have him, down here. Lovely. So I'm going to give that a bit of a blot, because your Versafine Clair, permanent, but it's a slow drying ink. And I don't want to smudge it, because what we're going to do next is come in with our acetate circle mask. Just here, I like it just off the design, look. I'm not spotlighting. So back with the Mermaid, but I'm going to go down a brush size. So I'm going for the number 7 brush. And what that will do, it will just make that ink a bit more concentrated. So although I'm doing tone on tone, look at that. You get that lovely, so it will show up, but that lovely fuzzy. Now I'm purposely leaving my water splats right till the end. I want to do all my stamping. So I'm going to add a little bit of colour to our bee. And these are the Wink of Stella. So this is the gold. And I will activate, the water in them will activate that ink underneath, because it's dye-based, moves with water. But I don't mind a bit of it's sort of got a bit of a bluey green, but I don't mind that. And then, again, this is the silver, but it's activating that blue underneath. So it's sort of got a bit of a blue tone to it. But again, don't mind, happy with that. Yellow Posca, just to dab in, look. And what I like about this is it then highlights the yellow from the bee as well. So although we're keeping to the blues and purples, we've almost got this accent colour with the yellow. And to be honest, that's why I only did 3 of these, because otherwise I would have had more to go dotty with, wouldn't I? Lovely. Now, water splats. Fan brush. And again, I'm deciding exactly where I want them. If you want any larger ones, pop your finger and just dab. And I always have a piece of kitchen towel, look, because I don't want it too white, so that I can just clean it up, dry it off, because that's white enough. I don't want it to look like snow. Look, get it everywhere. And what I will do is just bring my heat tool, so sorry for the noise, just over it, just to dry that off a little. Again, dry the front and the back. It'll keep it nice and flat. But with watercolour card, look at that, good quality. It will take the water. I think this is beautiful, I really do. I hope you have a go at this design, because as you've seen, how quick and easy was that? And like I say, you don't have to worry about your blending. Just get the colour on there, because by the time you've done all this, it adds more interest. Look at that, and look at the lovely colours. That blue and purple make such lovely tones together. Last little thing. Now, I've got my splats, I know, but I'm going to come in with a white Posca and a gold Posca. I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight there. And maybe I've started doing this. I like just to add, oh, got one on my mat there. Just a couple of, don't overthink it. Just some nice white lines. Right, give it a good shake. And I'm just going to add some white splats. If you hit it here, if you struggle with your Posca, I found that's the area for me. Just gentle taps. And that just, I think, looks nice in the background. But if you've got a gold, the gold on top, or you could use black. I really like using 2 colours together. And these are things that when you first look at the tag, I agree, you won't necessarily notice. Just going to add a couple of dots here at the base. You won't necessarily notice that gold Posca. But these are things that I always think, if we didn't have them, there'd almost be something missing. And if I bring this closer, look, can you see that lovely detail? I mean, as I say, you could use just part of this. And I love this depth at the base. And look, that does look, I mean, couldn't you just sit in that meadow? Well, I could. I must admit, it's nearly coffee time as I'm recording this. So I'm going to go and sit in my garden and have my coffee. So I'm just going to... And lastly, all I'm going to do is add some of my craft yarns. Now, I'm very lucky, look, I've got this gorgeous bag, which was made for me by my lovely friend, Anne Redfern, who passed away recently. And it's my homage to her. She gave me this, and I have, look at this, all my craft yarns in here. So I'm going to get my craft yarns, and I think I've got just about every colour combination that there is. So I'm thinking we've got a lovely purple in here. So we'll have a piece of that. Now, there's got to be a nice blue in here. Oh, that's quite a thick. And I love the different textures and different tones we've got. And then what I'm thinking is with this grey one, maybe a white. We've got a... Yes, this one. Right, well, I'm just going to cut this there. And I'm thinking I might just need those three. And again, it's so easy. Just make yourself a little, and you all know how to do this. Pop them through. And then get hold of that. As I say, you've all done this. She says, have I missed one? Oh no, it's there, look. Right, I think I might, that's a bit long. This is a bit, you know, for me, where I faff. Right. Check they're all, yeah, they're all through. Right, I'll pop those back in my lovely little bag. It hangs in my craft room, this. So, my friend's with me all the time. And it is lovely, you know, that's what I think is important about when we do give gifts and things to our friends. It's a piece of us and it's something they can keep. And that's one reason I like to do this. And also, that's why I handwrite on the back a lovely little message. And also, I will handwrite the crafter's name on the front, not a sticker, but handwriting. Because for me, nobody else does that. You know, it's your handwriting. And again, I do think that's important. I think we have so many things these days with texts and emails. And I mean, they're all good technology, you know, it's good. I mean, look at this. You can join me. It's fabulous. But I just like some handwritten. You can't, you know, I keep cards. I keep things that people make me. And I'm so glad I do, because for me, it's a part of them. And if it should happen that we do lose them, I've still got a part of my lovely friend. So for me, I mean, I think it'd be lovely, you know, if all of us on here could make a card or a tag and just send it to somebody, send it to a friend and just write on it, you know, a hug in a card from me to you, just because. That's all you need to, just because. And I think that's lovely. And do you know what? If it made one of our friends' days, how wonderful would that be? To put a smile on somebody's face, just to make them feel loved. So I'm going to leave you now. So thanks for joining me. I've got to pack my bags now and get ready for my trip to Wales tomorrow. Eric's coming with me in our little camper and car, and we're stopping in a lovely local campsite. If ever you go to Ruthin in Wales to visit, honestly, if you're camping, there's a lovely campsite, family owned, gorgeous showers. They have a little cafe as well and a gift shop. So I can let you have the details should you wish. So have a lovely weekend. Please take care of yourselves. And I tell you what, have that extra coffee for me. Because do you know what? I'm going to nip outside in my garden now and have that extra coffee. And my dahlias are flowering beautifully. And these lovely bumblebees love them. So I'm going to go and chat with my own Bumble and Hum. You take care. As always, Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.